I'm J-Marie Poetry, owner of Dirty Words Apparel, and my co-host Brandy is owner of the Pleasure Palace. We are the Dirty Pleasure Show. This podcast gets dirty, down in the sheets of your bed and your head. Conversations get deep. For instance, while giving head, what do you think about? Does it matter? Can you please your mate, or should others be involved? These topics and more are in store for your listening pleasure. We are the Dirty Pleasure Show. Let's get started because it's 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes.
Is it 3 minutes?
And I see people joining, so we can start.
Hey.
I'm waving to everybody. Okay, so thank you all for joining. I'm J-Marie Poetry, owner of Dirty Words Apparel. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can
you
hear
can
you.
Hear me? Oh, I thought you didn't hear me. Okay. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dirty Words Apparel. I'm also a spoken word recording artist. J-Marie Poetry Music is my brand name for that too. So I'm the owner of both. Anyway, I want to introduce to you all Brandy. If you don't already know, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Brandy. I'm the owner of the Pleasure Palace. I am an independent bedroom candy consultant. You can find me on Instagram at BK Pleasure Palace. You can find me on Facebook, Brandy Mac. If you're a lady, I have a wonderful group for you, the Pleasure Palace. I would love to add you to it, gentlemen. I haven't had anything for you yet, but I'm in the process of it. Feel free to inbox me, and I'll help you out where I can. That's all I have right now.
Okay, and this is my Let's Get Dirty t-shirt. I always forget to mention it because I throw it on, call myself branding, and then I forget to say it. So this is going to be a pre-order pretty soon. So you all watch the website dirtywordsapparel.com for this one, but there's also other apparel on there that you can check out and see if you like and buy. So without further ado, we're going to talk about last show's topics. I always like to try to give everybody kind of like a heads up. I'm not a heads up, a review rather of the topics on the show prior. So the last show we talked about whether or not you use sex as a weapon in your relationship, or have you had it used against you. We did have some fellas on, Blue, the Hustler, Dave Barbecue, Burn Up Barbecue.
Dave's Burn Up Barbecue.
So
he's been on here twice, so if you go back through our videos, you'll see him on there.
Mm-hmm. So Soul Food, I can't think of his handle, but we have. What is her business? I forget. The bedroom.
Yes, she's also a bedroom candy consultant. Yes,
bedroom candy consultant as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we've had several different people on here giving us their opinion, men and women. So we definitely appreciate the feedback on that. We have determined that it can be used as a weapon. You know, if you're the type that chooses to use sex as a weapon, but it can also be used as a incentive in a sense of the coupons and things like that we were talking about, how to spice it up rather than it being something that you end up using as a weapon or some sort of, this is the only way that you all have any kind of sexual intimacy. So as long as it's balanced, as long as it's what's going on, sophomore, and I did get your message too, by the way.
Hey, sophomore.
But what we have determined is that it can be used against you. You know, it can be used in a negative way and things like that. So we got a lot of good feedback on there. This show's topic is teaser and pleasers. Now, what this topic is going to get into is the mindset of a teaser and a pleaser. Whether or not you embody that or whether or not that's maybe something you want to be or become. So we're going to talk about some things. Now, it's not science. It's not any kind of medical advice. I don't want anybody thinking that this is psychology or anything like that. We're just giving our opinions, and we want people to tap in and get on the live if you want to talk about what your take is or your opinion is on it. So, when we talk about teaser and pleaser types, we have to kind of talk about the mindset, I think, first. Would you agree, Brandy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you were to say your type, whether it's a teaser or pleaser, what would you categorize yourself as?
Me, I would say pleaser.
Okay. And why do you say that?
I don't know. I'm kind of like, I like to kind of get to the point. I just think teasing just kind of, it's great to kind of start it, but, I just rather I enjoy pleasing,
Okay.
I can't think how I want to say it, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
if I were to say one type specifically, it would be the pleaser, but I think it's a combination of both because I like the lead up. I am somebody who likes the lead up, so I do like the foreplay. I do like the before we even get into the room kind of situation. So I'll say the teasing type too, but if we were to pick one specifically, it'd be the pleaser. Yeah, Tyler, I agree. I'm both as well. It just depends on the phase of it. What phase are we in? Are we talking about all day? And if we're talking about all day, I might be teasing you up until that point, right?
Hmm.
So you're having conversations, you're sexting, you're sending pictures, you're maybe having little phone calls or something in between the day before you actually, meet up or whatever it may be that you do, whatever the language is that you all speak. I think is something that I look at that leads up to the pleasing rather than there being one versus the other. So the show is gonna kind of ask if you are one or the other, but obviously we know that in some cases, and I would love to get somebody out here who is just the teaser type, like that literally thinks that they're one type, and I would love to hear their mindset about that. Because it almost seems like you got to be both, but maybe, and then maybe you're like the receiver type, but not the
Giver.
uh, giver. I was like, what the hell is the opposite of that? So maybe you're not and I guess I wanted to say that too, but I was like, that's a long ass title. Teaser pleaser, we can talk about that, but then we can also talk about receiver and giver because then some people are like, especially some women I know, they are like, and I just want to let you all know if you want to get on here and give us your opinion about the topic, it's teaser pleaser types, and we're talking about whether or not even you're a giver or a receiver, or do you prefer one versus the other? But if you want to get on here, let us know, and we'll let you on. I'm running the live, so I'll see the notification, and I can let you on here if you want to give your opinion on something. By the way, but back to what we were kind of getting into. Um, oh, I lost my train of thought. I knew that was gonna happen. Damn it! There's too much going on today. Help me out,
It
Brandy.
is a lot.
Uh,
Let's see.
the
You
well,
want to go
whether or
ahead and get
not
talking
I
about the
guess
love
so
styles?
that's what I was gonna say. Okay. Well, I
Go
was
ahead.
just talking about we were talking about other, and I've had a lot of women tell me that they would rather be the receivers than the givers, and I'm like, okay. I would like to get some of everybody on here to talk about, especially if they consider themselves one specific, side to that. Do we have any of the guys, Tyler, or I am Dana the Beauty? Big Cuzzo, sophomore, if you want to get on here. Sophomore, I think you should get on here actually. This dude has interviewed me as an artist. Well, it was a brand. It was some sort of kind of interview, and he was so long winded. That show went on for a while. I still have to edit it. Sophomore, did you want to get on here? Latisse, anybody want to give their opinion, or did you need a recap of what we're talking about? I know some people just joined. Okay, so I'm checking the messages to see. Okay, well, let's just jump into the love style. And I know you said that it made you a little upset, so I'm kind of curious as to. Okay, Dana, the beauty, you want us to recap? Okay, so basically today's show topic is teaser and pleaser types, but we're also talking about whether or not you consider yourself the giver or the receiver when we're talking about the bedroom. Do you consider yourself one specific way, or do you consider yourself to be like, I say multifaceted, maybe? Maybe that's the way to say it. So we want to kind of hear from anybody who wants to chime in and get on the live. If you have an opinion about the topic and things like that, you're definitely welcome to chime in on that. But right now we're going to go into the love style. And this was it from Cosmopolitan? No, it's howwelove.com. Okay, so there was this survey that I asked Brandy to do, and I did myself. And it talks about, it's interesting because this kind of goes into the mindset of the teaser and pleaser type too, even though it was a borderline psychological kind of thing. It kind of messed with me on a different level, but it
was kind of deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Casper the Ghost says, I'd rather give than receive. Okay. Do you feel like there's a mindset to that as to why you would be that way, Casper?
You guys are more than welcome to join. Don't be scared. Just come on, talk to us.
Get on the live if you don't want to text on the thing, because I know the thing goes down real small and you can't see nothing. And then eventually you'll be saying stuff and I can't see it.
I can't pull it up.
So what mine, let me see. My thing, okay, so let me give it a preference because it's going to be kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? Let me get this up. So there's this survey that they had where you can kind of tell your love style. And it's based on, what to say, most women receive and men give. Oh, okay.
I would agree.
I'm just more of a pleaser. I want her to be pleased. Yeah, I think, okay, so let me ask this to the audience rather than kind of go into this survey, because this thing is kind of extensive and more. Can you hear me, Brandy? Did we lose you? Can y'all hear me? Show me some hands if y'all can still hear me, because I don't know if we lost her or if mine got lost. Okay, you can still hear me? Okay, so Brandy dropped off. When she gets back in, I'll let her back in. So the question I have for the audience is, do you think that as far as the pleaser and teaser types and things like that, do you think that there's a specific reason why you're that way? Or do you just think like, oh, I've always been somebody that's very giving and things like that? Or do you think it only has to do with sex? Okay, we're getting Brandy back on here now. I'm seeing your canned message late, Robert. Sorry about that. Okay. Boost men's ego to please, so that's my. Okay. So you think it's an ego booster that they please rather than them being more so givers because they're a giver. If that they're naturally what is the way that they say that that they like a very caring and giving person and things like that. Do you think that ties into somebody being a very giving person in the bedroom? Or could they also be really selfish, like outside of the bedroom, like they're super selfish and they're super. What the? Why does your thing keep on freezing up?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to get on from my tablet.
It's waving on me. Okay, so pleaser and teaser types and receiver and givers, kind of combination of both. And I see it's more people getting on here. I'm gonna repeat what I just said because I think like the professors in school, they're always repeating stuff. So I'm gonna repeat it because for those of you who just came in, we're talking about teaser and pleaser types. And Brandy keeps on dropping off on me, but we're talking about teaser and pleaser types and then the mindset behind that. And then also it ties into the giver and the receiver as well. So we're talking about what makes somebody, or what do you all think makes the mindset of a pleaser or a teaser type of a person. So y'all can go ahead in the comments. I'm seeing comments. I'm trying to catch everybody's comment. Casper the Ghost, you said, wait a minute. I'm just more of a pleaser. I want her to feel pleased. Do you think, is that a thing that boosts your ego? Or do you think that's just that you're a giving person and things like that? Who is calling? Can y'all hear me? Okay, it doesn't feed into your ego. So are you a naturally giving person? Just like somebody always concerned about others and their well-being and things like that? Or does that only translate to the bedroom? Like outside the bedroom, you a whole different person? I'm trying to multitask. I got calls coming in on the phone, and I'm glad I didn't put my IG on the phone today because it would have messed up this live big time. Dana the Beauty, you said that that most women receive and men give. Do you think that is is it a reason? Like, are women I just accepted? What is this thing doing? Brent, okay, I was gonna say request me again. Okay, so Casper, you're a giver, and you said it also transfers to all around your lifestyle. Okay, so I kind of wonder, is it a reason that women are more of the receiver type and men are the givers? Because Dana is saying that it's tied to ego. Casper is saying it doesn't tie to his ego, but he's a giver all the way around. So that's his persona, I guess you say, played out in the bedroom as well as in life. Did you have people who were getting on? I had people calling me. I don't know what they were doing that, but folks calling and trying to figure out what I'm doing, and I'm trying to tell them to get on if you're gonna get on. You got it up now?
Yeah.
Okay. You got the quiz thing up now?
No, give me a second.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and talk about the quiz. So it's howwelove.com. That's the website that we're on, in case y'all want to go to it and see or take the quiz. It's kind of lengthy, so I'm gonna warn you, if you take the quiz, you probably should take the quiz after the show when you don't have nothing else going on with your phone. But so this is
Okay.
so the How We Love website is talking about what is your love lifestyle or your love style rather, and it says that it's tied to your childhood experiences, and it kind of informs you on what you should expect in relationships, and you should receive or how you receive and express yourself and things like that, love through your relationship. So this survey was kind of tapped into some psychological kind of questions and things like that. So what it did was it gave us 6 different personality types. It talked about the avoider, the pleaser, the facilitator. Y'all know how to pronounce that word? I thought it said vaccine.
I don't know, but that was my highest. That was my highest score.
Really? The controller, the victim, and the secure connector.
Actually, my highest was the facilitator, the victim, and the pleaser.
Mine was the. Let me see. Where did mine go? Hold on. Mine went into the avoider, the pleaser, and the controller. So it says the avoider. Let me read y'all what the avoider is. Obviously, the avoider avoids conflict and stuff like that, emotionally needy things they tend to avoid. Why am I getting so many calls on this phone? I'm glad I'm not on there.
That's why I had to switch to my tablet because it kept messing up my phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And so the avoider avoids like conflict and things like that. The pleaser obviously is the pleaser, so you love to make people feel happy and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The facilitator,
I think the facilitator is more. That's what ties more into like past childhood trauma experiences because it.
Okay.
Boy, that definition. Oh.
Okay. So basically, this one is you're always feeling let down and things like that. The controller, I don't like being outside of my comfort zone. I'm learning to get past that though, very much so. So that's those answers I think are a little dated. The victim, and it says I need to keep my needs quiet and things like that. And then the secure connector is like the super one that's like, oh, you balanced everything. Woo for you. I didn't get that shit at all. So what I looked at was how does that tie into the bedroom, and the avoider, the pleaser, and the controller were my highest ones. The avoider and controller was tied. So it's interesting that the controller, which is somebody who's in like a power position, and then the avoider. So I thought that was interesting, but it made me kind of look at, okay, what are mindsets? What do mindsets have to do with all of this? And Shay, if you want to get back on and give us your opinion and feedback, you're welcome to as well. I just saw she joined too. But it just made me kind of think about, okay, does the mindset have a lot to do with how you are in the bedroom versus how you are in life? Like, some people will be like, I've had people, men and girlfriends too, tell me that the way that they are in the bedroom, they're nothing like that outside of life. Like, they're very giving and this and that in the bedroom, but in life, they're like opposite. Like the wolf on Wall Street, the head bitch in charge, like they're nothing like that. So sometimes it doesn't translate to the bedroom, or vice versa. The bedroom doesn't translate outside of the bedroom behavior doesn't transfer, or the mindset maybe, or the emotions and things like that don't translate outside of the bedroom. So pleaser types versus teaser types. When you talk about A teaser, Brandy. What kind of comes to mind to you for the teaser type?
To me, the teaser is more like somebody that's hard to get. Like, but it's kind of like, too, like you said earlier, it's like you just kind of, I guess, sexed and like, I guess, verbally foreplay kind of all day until, you meet your mate for that day where y'all both come home, and then, y'all get down to business. It's kind of all over the place definition for me. To me, the pleaser is just, or the teaser, excuse me, doing a little strip tease and, send like a booby pic or, send like a suggestive pose pic. Just kind of build up momentum for that night that y'all plan to have together. Or just go home. That's y'all thing, Y'all always kind of picking and poking and prodding at each other. Just kind of, sexually, just kind of keep things interesting. So
Okay. So for me, a teaser type, it's kind of like it can, if it's balanced, it works well. If it's not, then you're running into somebody who's selling wolf tickets or, capping, as we say these days.
women aren't natural teasers. We're not about to start that. No, they're not.
What is going on?
Women are not natural teasers.
Natural teasers? Are we?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. Casper the Ghost. Okay, I did miss your comment. I'm sorry. You said, I think Caribbean men are more givers and pleasers, but not all those. So I take it you're a Caribbean man? Caribbean? Yeah, I read that right. Yes, they all are. Why do you say that? Then do you want to get on? You
Yeah.
want to get on and talk about it instead of being texting in this chat? I think women. I think we naturally can be, but it doesn't mean it's used in a way where it's negative. Like obviously, some of us have the gift and we use it a little too much. And then, right, and Sassy Sipper, I agree with you. Not a natural teaser on purpose, meaning you're not, you just exist. Okay, you're from Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Tobago, is it? Or Tobago? Maybe I might be mispronouncing it. But I think we have the ability to be that. I know sometimes even from your voice, like I've always been told from my voice, I sound like I should have a sex phone voice. Or what did they say? I feel like I work for the sex phone line or whatever. And I was like, no. Tried out for it, but I'm too
No.
goofy to stick to that. So I'm not that much of a teaser, I guess. But I do think that women have a natural, is it a proas? I don't know what the word is. We got a natural thing for that, I would say. Tobago. Okay. Um, so because we have that natural type of ability, I think, yeah, we can be just by existing. But the pleaser types, I think they still kind of fall in line with it's a progression. It's not something that just, you know, because when I think about the pleaser type, I don't think it's somebody who's not necessarily all the time. They're like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do for you, or whatever you say do, I'll do. I don't think it necessarily falls in line to that type of mentality or that type of mindset. But I do think that that type of person is also someone who's trying to make everyone happy to a degree. Sometimes it's to a negative extent. Sometimes it's balanced, but I do think that it falls in line with maybe they don't show that. Like in their line of work, for instance, somebody's a big time boss or CEO or whatever, and they can't necessarily show that side of themselves. because it's considered a vulnerability or because it's considered, uh, you know, you're kind of letting your guard down and things like that. Do you agree with that? Brandy, what do you say about that?
I'm trying to get my thing back up.
Okay.
I,
Okay, audience. What do you all think
trying
about
to pull
that?
it all back up.
Because I don't want to feel like I'm talking to myself because this is what it's feeling like right now. Y'all need to talk back to me.
I mean, nobody's really talking tonight. I mean,
I
y'all on
see.
here watching us, but don't want to interact.
I see.
We're down to 3 viewers.
I see. Y'all want to get on and talk about it? I'm seeing on here. There's more people texting me and calling me, asking me what am I doing? What is this they're watching? Just get on here. Oh,
Well, we can just continue to talk about it. They pick it up, they don't. What was your other categories?
the other categories for the well, the avoider, the pleaser, the facilitator, and all those different types. Those types kind of play into how we interact in our relationships, or this is what the survey or whatever this sort of quiz thing was trying to bring out. So one of the things that I thought was interesting was it did bring out some things that I agree with, and it also didn't necessarily, and there was also some things I didn't agree with, but for the most part, it brought out what I would say is lined up with me. Like there are different things that I'm working on, different ways that I'm trying to become overall as a person. The bedroom part isn't necessarily a problem. It's outside of that. And then, to me, I think if you don't have the outside of it together, the bedroom inside is going to be a little botched as well. Because if you don't have that together, then I think it translates into how you feel during the sex, how you feel before, how you feel after, all of these different things. So if you go into it, with the mindset of you're not willing to please or you're not interested in your mate, that definitely will show. And I think it also plays a part into the teaser and pleaser types of the mindset, rather, that they have going into it. Teaser types can still make it work in the bedroom because if you think about it, the teaser type is the one that's kind of setting the mood. Maybe they're still setting the mood, right?
Yeah.
They're setting the mood, and the pleaser is, and the anticipation. There's an anticipation there, so I think that there is definitely room for them. No pun intended. There's definitely room for them in the bedroom, but to say that it's one-sided, I don't think that's necessarily the way that it goes in the bedroom. I think it starts out one way. There's maybe the teasing side of it, and then there's the pleasing side of it.
You know what about this quiz, though? This quiz is something that is good to touch on, and we don't necessarily have to do it today, but I think this quiz would be something
good to touch on.
Turn around. I think this would be a good thing to touch on, even as a segment by itself, because this quiz honestly goes beyond the bedroom.
It does.
This is touching.
It does.
Because when I took that quiz, it read me like it read my entire life, and I don't know if whoever's watching, but that's something I would be interested in having multiple people do, and then coming on and talking about it. Because this touches a lot of stuff besides just what you like to do in the bedroom. This
It does.
quiz has gone beyond.
It does. That's why I was like, ooh,
Right.
do this. It's on.
Shay, I will put the quiz in my comments, and she'll put it in hers too. But we'll definitely get that quiz out to anyone that's wanting to get the link to take it.
Hold on, I can type it in here. Hold on. Let me get it. It's my phone type right how it's howwelove.com. And
Howwelove.com.
it's on the front page, so you'll definitely be able to see it. Howwelove.com. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we got comments. Let me go back. Let me scroll back. Sorry about that. Okay, so Smile with me. I'm sorry. I had to read. Sorry. Smile with me says sometimes the pleaser doesn't ask for what they want sexually. Okay. Can you elaborate on what you mean by that? Sometimes the pleaser doesn't ask for what they want sexually. Does that then make them not having their needs met? So are you saying that then they do it and they don't get reciprocation?
Yeah, yep, I agree with that.
Well, I'm more so asking. I think
Because sometimes you make it a point to please your mate to make them feel good, because it's not even about just making them feel good. It makes you feel good that you making someone else feel good. Mm-hmm. And then too, it's like if I please you well enough, this is just not a good night, y'all, and I'm sorry. This is really not a good night. Sometimes when you feel like if you please enough, again, this quiz is deep, because it's like if you please enough, you won't be so sporadic in the attention that you give me. You won't be, in and out, when really, if you do more than pleasing without even asking to be reciprocated or showing how you like to be reciprocated, eventually that person only comes around just to be pleased, because you're going to try to do your best to please them.
Right.
No matter, it could be financial, sexually, anything. But then you're trying to control the situation. Now that leads to, if you're a controller, because now you're just like, okay, if I do more, that's going to keep you coming back. So now that leads into that control. Then that victim can come into play, because then you're like, if I don't do enough, you're going to think I'm inadequate, and then you're going to leave me.
Oh, okay. So thank you. Okay, this is what I said. That's what I said. You need to talk more, because I know you have a lot more to bring to the table, honey, and that is it right there. Okay, so that's great that you brought that up. So you think the pleaser type can start off as someone who's selflessly pleasing, but then it turns into a situation of control, because now they're using it.
Because it's like okay, so I please you sexually, I get you hooked, but then I start pleasing you in other ways, financially, emotionally, or something, but that ties into control, because it's like, okay, if I do more and if I try my hardest, and this is not saying this is everybody, but this is just what I was thinking about. When you try your hardest to do more, now you're controlling it, because it's like, okay, whatever I do, I'm controlling you coming back. I'm controlling you to still be gravitated towards me with whatever I can do. But then that turns into actually a victim, because eventually they're going to get tired of that, because all you're doing is maybe doing the same things over and over again, because you know that's going to control them and bring them back. And it's going to keep them pleased. But then you're the victim now, because then after a while, they're just I won't say manipulating you, because really that's you controlling and manipulating. But now you're a victim, because eventually they're going to get bored of that. They're going to leave. That turns into the facilitator, because that actually kind of ties into your childhood. So if in your childhood you were abandoned by your parents,
mm-hmm.
What does that tie into? So that it's like a downward, I'll say down the ladder. So you get down to the bottom, and that root cause could be some type of abandonment.
Yeah, you're right.
Where that
you're right.
You all the
That's interesting. Okay.
That's not everybody's scenario, but that could be a good example.
That's interesting that you said that, and I'm gonna let Shay. I'm definitely let you get in on this, but let me share my thought on that. So the idea that, wow, that's crazy. So the idea that like I'm a pleaser, but is it tied to the fact that I don't want this person? Let me clarify. I'm not in a relationship, so this is me asking generally in case somebody's like, oh, she's going through. No, I'm single and loving it, by the way. But am I doing this just to keep him, but it's out of the abandonment, what do you want to call it? Like, the fear of abandonment versus the intention is I'm doing this to please my man because I want him to be pleased. This is what, like when you think about it, your mate and you should be wanting to please one another. That should be the goal. But now you got me thinking, does it also tie into other things where we're not doing it for the right reasons? We're doing it because this is all we can give, and we know we're good. This is 100. We A1 on this one, but everywhere else we're not. So we're overcompensating, but we're doing that to keep whoever we're with us, rather than.
The words of Pamela.
That's okay. Okay, and I was about to say Shay, and then I walked away a little bit.
Oh yeah,
you still over there?
And that's why when I took this quiz, I didn't get to take it yesterday. We sent it to me, but I took it today on my lunch break, and I just sat back at work and just after I got my results, like,
I know.
Yeah,
I was,
and not saying that I use whatever to manipulate anyone, but I could, like, I really sat down, just broke it all the way down, like. It really does stem from how you were raised and what you were exposed to as a child, just socially, financially, emotionally, and sadly, probably sexually too, because a lot of kids are exposed to a lot of shit at a very young age.
Yeah.
And it's never been properly addressed. It's been hushed, it's been hidden. Then this child goes up and goes through puberty, and boom, from there it's just all gas, not a break in sight.
Right. Now, but Shay, before I just want to let everybody know what we're talking about. The quiz is on www. Well, we ain't gonna do the wwws. HowWeLove.com. This is a quiz that talks about 6. Well, I did the 3. Okay, 3 times 2. 6 different types of categories, and you score at certain levels and things like that. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, check it out. It's not us being paid to do this and nothing like that. This is just something I've researched, and I thought it was really interesting because it makes you think. If anything, it makes you think. It's not a silly survey. It's not a silly quiz. It's something that literally I think a lot of psychiatrists and counselors and all them types have put together to kind of give you sort of somewhere to start. Like if you're trying to get counseling or something like that, this is kind of somewhere to start. Now, go ahead, Shay, with your opinion on it.
So I think I kind of missed the beginning of what you were talking about. However, I think sometimes too with the pleaser, they may not know what it is that that they want themselves sexually. So maybe their goal is to please their partner in hopes that in return that partner is gonna, maybe I want to say, save them, maybe do something
like read their mind, like in a sense of have some sort of connection that they're gonna just know what to do.
Right, but then
that's very unrealistic, but yeah, that it can go to that extreme as well.
And I think it just still kind of go back to what everything goes back to. Communication is still gonna go back to communication. But Randy said, it did make a lot of sense. Some of those things are traumatic, and
Yeah.
you may not
You don't realize.
always know that immediately until the experiences, and then it could somehow be a good thing, but then it may also turn out to be a bad thing as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because you think, okay, if you're a pleaser type, and I wish we could get another person on here. I'm thinking about how many people we can get on here. I wish we can get the guy that was saying he was from the Caribbean, because it's, I mean, without going into somebody's personal life to that degree, I don't want to do that, but to kind of understand, because when we say we're pleaser and teaser types, is it stemming from some sort of trauma, or is it just that we are givers? Like, now it's almost like, well, what's the natural human state? Is it to be giving and not a teaser, or is it to be a teaser type that like kind of goes into the pleaser type? And you wonder, are you willing to please because of some sort of traumatic experience or some sort of coping mechanism? Or I've even heard guys say that there was one guy who said that anytime he has some sort of situation that's a heavyweight kind of situation, he'll go to his girl and her brains out. I don't want to say that word because I feel like I'm going to have to beat it out, but her brains out, because this is how he deals with it. Now, I was like, okay, well, what's wrong with that? I mean, you're pleasing her, you're being pleased. But then he was like, but I'm starting to learn that ain't the way to deal with it, because I'm not dealing with this and that. And I thought to myself, are you seeing a therapist or something like this? Why do you say this or whatever? And he was saying, because he was talking, he was around some homeboys, and they were talking about how that's how you're supposed to deal with it. That's how you're supposed to handle it. You know, your girl is supposed to be your safe house, your safe, safety this, safety that. And I agree with that to an extent, but like, if you're not dealing with whatever you need to be dealing with, and you're using that as a coping mechanism, you could be pleasing and teasing and all that kind of stuff, but then behind it all, there's still some trauma. There's still something you're not dealing with, and you're using that like a cigarette, or the bottle, or whatever you want to say. You're using it in that capacity. So it's really interesting to kind of break this down. And I know people were like, oh, they're talking about sex to a degree, but it's the mindset.
It goes way beyond that. So.
And then with that situation, if when they are in that moment and he's in all that pain and he really goes in and it's really, really good, then when things are great for them, how is it for good sex is to hurt pain, and I would want that. So
this has got interesting, because now we're talking about, okay, when you have really great sex, this is all amazing, fireworks and this and that, out of nowhere in your relationship where it was run of the mill for a minute, but then all of a sudden this spark of something happened, but it's tied to some sort of pain or some sort of hurt or some sort of regret or whatever it is. That's right. Interesting.
Oh, by the way, I just talked to Casper. He had to go handle some stuff, so he won't be able to get back on, but maybe we can get him on. That's who I was listening to the phone, but maybe we'll get him next week. To join us.
Did we have any guys that wanted to get on? I know it's always an interesting perspective. I like to get guys on too, because it seems like they tell us what they be talking about in the barbershop. I just feel like we getting some game that we wouldn't ordinarily get.
Yeah, that get worse.
And I feel like, this might be something we need to dive into a little bit more.
I mean, yeah, I think so. I know it's kind of like not the game plan, but this quiz had me thinking about it since I took it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can't tell you how much I just sat back like,
yeah,
this quiz just read me like a T to a T. And it's good too, like with your spouse. It's good to take this type of quiz because it can kind of open the doors to
conversation,
kind of sit there really like think, like really kind of trying to. It's not going to solve trying to figure out how each other ticks, but I think it opens that door to talk about past traumas, which could unlock a lot of love and intimacy when you could possibly help each other get over that block.
That's interesting. As a single woman, I
could be wrong.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's your opinion. It's definitely your perspective for sure. I looked at it as this does talk about a lot. When we talk about the hang-ups, we were talking about the hang-ups in the bedroom. We're talking about previous shows when we were talking about the reason or the mindset behind it, because that's always my goal, is the mindset behind it, not the action per se, but the mindset behind it. And this website really kind of helps you dive into, those things that we think like are normal. And then it's like, oh yeah, I avoid conflict because I don't like conflict or whatever. But that's also a negative if it's the extreme, or if you're a pleaser and you don't have the balance. There's also a negative to that, because then you're not getting your needs met, but you're always meeting others' needs. And the facilitator, I still fight with that word. I wish I would have came up with a different word for
Listen, that word, because I can't really say, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. When I tell you that word,
now it's a curse word.
That laid the groundwork like, oh,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. But it's basically you're always feeling like you're going to be let down, or you always expect it. I think that's the way, and you're always in your head about a lot of different things.
Like hyper vigilant, yeah.
Yeah. And then the controller, like I think there's a balance, period. A balance to it. The victim, I think, is the only one that one doesn't need to be in the picture at all. But it helps to kind of understand, because when you think about it, you tie all those different personalities, or not personalities, those different characteristics into one person. And with balance, that can work. The facilitator and the victim, I think, are the only ones that I would say aren't ones that you should probably even have in your makeup per se. But it does talk about why we do what we do in the bedroom. It does help with that understanding, or at least the concept of, why are we pleasers? Why are we teasers? Do we feel like the teasing is something that you always want to feel like you're needed or wanted? So the teasing makes you feel wanted.
It's more the control. But the pleaser is more the victim, because I'm doing these things to please you so I don't get abandoned, left, disregarded, anything. So victim can kind of still go in with that control. I think that's where the control is a tease. I'm going to tease you to get you to, notice me, do what I want you to do, anything of that nature. But it's like the victim is like, okay, I'm doing this so you don't forget about me, abandon me, that type of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I see it.
Too, I
agree.
I
know it's kind of like maybe out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I mean the teaser type, because when I think of the teaser type, I don't go to the negative side of it first. I go to the side of it, like when you're with your mate And like I think of the Beyonce song "Dance for
Yeah.
You," "Cater to You," the Beyonce or Destiny Child song. I think of those kind of ambiances, those kind of things when I'm thinking of the
Mm-hmm.
teaser type,
Right.
because I'm thinking of the follow through, not you're just blue ball and I don't care. And I'm just doing this so, you can want me, but then there's no intention. And I'm saying when you're in an intimate situation, let me clarify because thirst traps are all day, every day on Instagram. I might be setting some of them
All
sometimes.
day, every day.
So I'm just saying it could be, but as far as the intimacy in the bedroom, I think the teaser type can be the pleaser type because it's the lead up. But you bring up a great point to say the pleaser type could also be the victim or the one who doesn't want to be let go of, doesn't want to, get cut from the team. So they doing everything to be relevant. They doing everything to be wanted, to be needed, all these different types of things. So I think you bring up a really good point with that because that's digging way deeper into the mindset and the mentality and mental faculties, all of that of the pleaser and teaser.
Right. And that's, let's say, and the victim category doesn't belong in everything. I just think those who may have scored high in the victim, you can see where this kind of comes into play. Not every person that takes it. I think when you have your level, when you scored that high with that one, like the other ones or above the other ones, then maybe there's more, you know what I mean? There's just, because those questions are very specific. It's like how you answer them. So I don't think victim applies, just like avoidance. I don't think it applies in every person's situation. I just think if that's one of those where it's a high score, then that's something how you could look at it. That's it.
Well, see, so,
I don't think it.
So my score number wise, the avoider was 8, the controller was 8, the pleaser was 7, the facilitator was 6, and the victim was 4. So I'm like, oh, a bit much on all of that. It wasn't other than the victim, and I will say my mindset is where I don't feel I'm the victim of anything because I think what you will allow will continue. Now that doesn't mean that I haven't been in situations that I allowed that made me a victim, but I allowed it. So I think when you I think it's an accountability thing. Excuse me. I think it's an accountability thing. So for me, it's like, no, I'm not the victim because I played a part in allowing it or those type of things. So I think that's kind of why I probably scored the lowest with that. But everything else, like the facilitator, I'm like, yeah, I'm in my head a lot and I'm trying to get out of my head on a lot of different things. So it read me. It read
and that's
me.
a process.
It read me. It read me for sure. The avoider, I was a little concerned about it being 8, just like the controller, because an avoider just in general, by nature, we're avoiding conflict, we're avoiding things, and I'm like, I don't run the conflict, but I don't back down from it if it's there. So I felt like I probably should have answered a few more questions less, or whatever the case was. But when we're talking about the bedroom, or we're talking about teaser and pleaser types, all of these sort of metrics or whatever you want to call it plays a part. I think and you'll see it, Shay, like when you do it, you're going to be, and I want to know what you got on it too, because that's going to be really interesting. I would like to encourage any and everybody who can do the howwelove.com quiz to check that out and see, and then maybe on the next show, y'all can share, what your results were or whatever with that. And speaking of the next show, and I want to go ahead and kind of try to wrap some of this up because I know we've been kind of fumbled and went all over the place. But this was a show again. We wanted to kind of touch on the mindset of a teaser and pleaser rather than just talking about sex or sex toys and things like that. So we wanted to touch on that more. But to let everybody know before we wrap up things, there is a contest that we want to do. Dirty Words Apparel and BK Pleasure Palace. candy shop. What is it called again? The
Pleasure Palace.
no. I was trying to say what is the name of the company? Anyway, your candy consultant, bedroom candy consultants. There we go. Their bedroom candy.
Okay,
I
know what you're trying to say.
Like, what am I trying to say? This is not cool.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you something. Today has been a rough start. I think we finished off great. It's not always going to be perfect. Right. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for bearing with us. It's just been one of those days.
Definitely appreciate you all. But I want to say, to kind of bring things back to wrapping up, Dirty Words Apparel and BK Pleasure Palace, we're going to do a giveaway on the last show. It's going to be one of these T-shirts and some other goodies from Dirty Words Apparel. And then Brandy is going to have her set of giveaway items as well. So the way we want to do it is literally the name in the hat kind of thing. I'm going to pick one person that's joined the live, that's entered into the contest. And Brandy is going to pick one. So it's going to be two winners. And just we'll kind of decide how we want to mix it up and flip it around or whatever. But we're going to do that. So that's the last show, and that's on the 29th. Is that? Yeah, 29th.
Yes.
29th. I got to look at my calendar. But we're going to do it on the 29th. That's the last show of this series. Now, I do want to be transparent. This show is going to take a pause for April because we got a lot of schedule conflicts that we all have coming up. We've got to kind of manage that. And we're going to pick back up in May. You are going to see us on social media talking about BK Pleasure Palace and Dirty Words Apparel. And we're also going to be doing a lot of different things online. We just won't be going live for the month of April because there's too much conflict going on. And we don't want to have you all kind of all over the place with show times and stuff like that and be confused. So the next show topic isn't going to necessarily be a specific topic. We're going to just wrap up kind of what the series was talking about, get people on who want to get on and talk about the subject matter of, or, give their opinion on maybe the survey that they did with howwelove.com. If you want to get on for that. But the contest is going to be done where we're going to do the raffle during that time, during the show. And then we'll figure out how we're going to get it to everybody afterwards. But we'll do the raffle where we pick the names. So I'm going to do a post, Brandy. I think I'm going to do a post. And people can, you see the tail end of this video, you'll know what to do. But I'm also going to say that in the post that you can enter in the contest and we'll do a raffle on the 29th of March show. So without further ado, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for tuning in. I know it's kind of all over the place, but thank you for your feedback and your comments as well on the live. I'm J. Marie Portry, owner of Dirty Words Apparel. You can find me at Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dirty Words Apparel, and you can shop at dirtywordapparel.com for this pretty soon. Once I get time to put it on the website, you're definitely going to be able to pre-order it, and whatever else is on there, you can definitely look through and see what you like. Brandy, go ahead.
You can find me on Instagram at BK Pleasure Palace. You can hop on over to my page. The link to my products is in my bio. If you can't get it, just send me an inbox. I will gladly send you a link and talk over any products you have questions on. You can find me on Facebook, Brandy Mac. Ladies, I do have a group, The Pleasure Palace. I would love for you to join and interact with us. We'll be hitting it harder in April. We'll be going definitely harder in May, especially what I'll be doing with J. Marie Poetry. Fellas, I don't have anything for you yet, but feel free to hop in my inbox. And again, I will walk you through anything you want to know and help you out.
Okay, and go ahead, Shay.
Okay, I'm Shay. You can definitely find me on Instagram with Bedroom Candy with Shay D, and also Facebook. I have a Facebook group, Passion Playground, and you can definitely find me there.
Okay, and last but not least, we will probably be doing some contests in April. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk to the ladies, and we're gonna kind of coordinate some things. So I don't want you thinking that we're gonna be offline and not available. We'll be there. Just not
Yeah.
live.
We'll just be active, just no lives.
Yeah, just no lives. Not like this. Not like this. So
Yeah.
thank you all again. Have a great day. Peace.